Hello, everybody, and welcome to a podcast where being fine is being you, and we're going to celebrate that. My name is Heidi. I'm a counsellor and psychotherapist, and today we're talking about something so many of us quietly try and avoid, and that's letting go of the year we have just lived. We're not rushing into resolutions, we're not forcing positivity, and we're not pretending the hardest parts of 2025 didn't happen. But instead, today, on episode 43 of We Are All Fine, we are going to be honouring what this past year brought us, the good, the bad, the ugly, the painful, the confusing, and we're going to hold it together with gentleness and honesty. So if you're stepping into a new year feeling tired, uncertain, hopeful, disappointed, or a mixture of the above, you are all in the right place. Today, I'm going to guide you through emotional closure, not the dramatic kind, but the kind that returns you back to your gorgeous self. So you can walk into this next chapter with clarity, compassion, and a lighter heart, no matter what it brings. So take a slow breath in and let's begin. Welcome. Let's start with why closure matters. We often imagine closure as a big moment of release, but in absolute reality, closure is just simply this. It's understanding your experiences well enough that it no longer pulls you backwards. And without it, you're going to notice things like this turning up in your mind. You'll be replaying conversations from many months ago. You're going to feel ashamed about choices you've made when you felt overwhelmed. You'll be carrying bitter disappointments into new goals, and you'll compare yourself to where you should be, not where you actually are. Many of you will be holding guilt about what you didn't achieve this year or criticizing yourself for just being yourself, human, normal, making mistakes. We can't walk into a new year with intention if we haven't acknowledged the weight we're carrying from the last one. So today we're not fixing anything. No, we're giving language to what happened and we're letting your nervous system exhale. I'm wondering what last year may have brought you. Every year it leaves fingerprints on us, it leaves its mark. Some of those are beautiful, some of those are painful, and many, I would think, are deeply mixed. I know when I look back on this year, I immediately think it was awful, but when I actually sit down, it probably wasn't as bad as I thought. There were some horrible things happened, don't get me wrong, but there were also some really gorgeous things that I did, moments in myself that I can recognise. I'm always checking in best I can. I'm not perfect, but when I remember, I try and check in. So I think I have made some good progress. I know when I reflect on my 2025, my year, it's definitely with mixed feelings. Some great things happened. I started the podcast. I took my business onto social media. All three of my children did eventually leave home. That left a gaping hole in my life. My focus, my direction, that brought us some really dark and difficult feelings from my own past about the lacks, the people I don't have in my world, and then the three people who the most important to me were no longer there every morning or every evening. Gosh, it was very difficult to adjust to. There's been many things in my professional and personal life. But it's been challenging. And maybe for you, last year, like me in some ways, maybe you didn't get the growth that you expected, or maybe you didn't get the endings you wanted, or endings that you didn't choose. Maybe you did have to let go of people or learn patterns that you're now just understanding. And maybe you experienced a level of exhaustion that you hid from others, or maybe a quiet strength you didn't realise you had. This episode isn't about judging the year. Please don't do that. It's about seeing it clearly so you can carry on with what matters to you. So if it feels right, just take a moment and gently ask yourself, what did last year take from me and what did last year give me? Because both of those questions matter. When we think about letting go, it's not forgetting and it's not pretending. It's simply the gentle art of letting go. It's releasing the parts that no longer need your attention. So here are 3 ways therapeutic closure will work for you. Number 1, name your truth. You don't need to make it pretty. You don't need to make it dramatic. You just need to be honest. So you might think or resonate with something like this. Last year was heavier that I really admitted it to myself. Or I tried my best with what I knew I had in the moments I had it. Hindsight is a gorgeous way of reflecting. You might think about ignoring my needs because I was overwhelmed. That might have happened to you. Or I kept going through things I didn't talk about. Naming your truth is an act of personal self-respect to you. Number 2, let's soften the inner critic. Maybe you can look back and think, I should have known better. I should have been stronger. I should have handled that differently. But emotional growth often makes sense in hindsight. So instead, switch up those sentences and try saying this to yourself. I understand why I felt that way, and I see why I made that choice at the time. I did the right thing at the right time. Self-compassion isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's about letting yourself be you and be human. And thirdly, allow the lesson to naturally rise. Lessons don't need to be forced. They appear when you're often calm enough to accept them and hear them. So ask yourself softly, what did this year quietly teach me? Not what you should learn, but what life actually showed you. I'm going to give you now a guided reflection for letting go. If you're able to pause for a moment, you're going to be able to reflect with me. You don't need to write anything down, just listen and let the answers rise gently. Reflection number 1, we're going to call it the acknowledgement. Ask yourself this, what am I still holding on to from last year? Maybe it's tension, a memory, a disappointment, a sadness you didn't speak out about. Just notice it. Just notice what comes up without judgment. Reflection number 2, the compassion. What part of me needs forgiveness or understanding? Maybe it's the tired version of you, or maybe it's the scared version, or maybe the version who stayed quiet or too busy or too hopeful. Offer that part a little bit of warmth. And reflection 3, the wisdom. Ask yourself this, what did last year show me about who I am becoming? Maybe you've learned your boundaries and you've set them. Maybe you've discovered resilience. Or maybe you realise you actually do deserve more support than you're getting. Or maybe you saw the patterns you're ready to shift. Whatever rises, trust it. Now bring yourself back into these few moments now, and we're going to look at moving forward without pressure. We often enter the new year with resolutions, rules and promises that we must do better and expectations we can't sustain. But moving forward doesn't need pressure, it needs intention. Something gentle you can hold, like this. I'll be kinder to myself this year. I will honour my needs sooner. I want to grow at my own pace. I'm ready to choose what supports me. Any one of those gentle affirmations sets intention and gives you permission to take control of what you need. I'm going to share something personal with you because I know many people feel the way I do, but very rarely say it out loud. I do, I'll tell anybody, but for a long time, I did not enjoy New Year's. It wasn't the celebration. It was the feeling that the calendar turning was somehow a spotlight on everything I hadn't done or everything I'd never achieved. I always used to pick away at the goals I didn't reach, the places I'd never grown into yet as an individual, and the absence of certain people in my life, like family, always felt louder as the clock ticked towards midnight. And New Year's always, it's a horrendous feeling, always made me feel like I was left behind, I was less than, and I was one down. But over time, through my own therapy, my own healing and my own work, I have learned to meet the end of the years differently. I do tend to get out of the way, to be honest, but that's a me thing, but it's my way. Now, instead of focusing on what was missing, which I still do, I have to gently drag or acknowledge the emotions that surface. I have to learn, and I do learn, and I want to learn to honour the reality of my experience and look for the places where I did show up, because there were many. And even if some of them were small and quiet, I showed up and I did something that mattered. This shift didn't happen all at once, it really didn't, but it's made the new year feel less like a test and more like a moment for me to dial into myself and be compassionate and reflective. I share this because if New Year's Eve feels heavy for you, you're not alone and you're not doing anything wrong. There is another way to meet this moment, one that doesn't demand perfection, only honesty and kindness internalized towards you. I'm going to leave you with this. Imagine yourself standing between two doorways. Behind you is the year you've lived, and ahead of you is the one that's just about to open. Before you step forward, whisper this to yourself: I'm taking the lessons, I'm leaving the shame. I'm keeping the growth, I'm releasing the pressure. I'm moving forward with kindness and compassion. This is what emotional closure feels like. It's steady, honest, and always just enough. I really hope this episode helped you soften the weight of last year and step into this new one with more compassion, more clarity, and a lot more space to breathe. Remember, you don't have to rush. You don't have to reinvent yourself today. You're allowed to move slowly, gently, and intentionally into 2026. And you're allowed to bring the lessons with you without carrying any shame. Next week, we're moving into something that I know many of my clients struggle with, but often quietly, and that's emotional boundaries. We've talked about boundary setting today in a loose way, haven't we? How can I clarify my 25 and take with me what I need and let go of things kindly? So next week, we're going to look at how to recognize your emotional boundaries and when yours are being crossed and how to set them without feeling guilty, always something I hear, and how boundaries can protect not only your peace, but also your relationships. It's an episode that pairs beautifully with where you are right now, because moving forward often requires new boundaries, new clarity, and a new way of honouring your emotional energy. And I will see you there. Until next time, remember, we are all flawed, insecure, nervous, and emotional. But always remember, be yourself. You are no one else. Until next time, however you say goodbye to 2025 and say hello to 2026, do it your way. Hold your head up high. I'll be thinking of each and every one of you. Happy New Year. Finally, some important takeaways. The podcast is for informational use only and should not be used as a substitution for professional advice or for personal diagnosis. These opinions are personal, and I do not guarantee the accuracy of such opinions or information. I'm not intending to create a counselling relationship with you, and you should always consult a qualified mental health professional with any concerns.